Hello, I'm here to bring you the latest news in the Islamic world about a scientific discovery. Recently, a new species of fish has been discovered. This is actually from back in 2009. MS Smart. I'm reading from this article. And you can read the article too, because I'm going to leave the link in this video, in the description of this video. MS Smart is a Dubai-based marine biologist and conservation officer for the Emirates Wildlife Society and World Wildlife Fund. So, it looks like this young lady discovered a species of fish in the southern part of Oman, and the the Dhofar, I can't pronounce this Dhofar, the Dhofar region, close to Salala. I can't pronounce that either. I'll have to find out how to pronounce it. Okay. Yes, the lady is a young white European. She discovered a species of fish, freshwater fish, in an Islamic country. Muslims didn't discover it, by the way, in case you didn't notice. A white European woman discovered it. Why didn't Muslims discover it? It's in their own country. This is their own wildlife. Why haven't they discovered it? For the same reason they didn't discover any of the other species. And for the same reason Europeans did. Because they're not interested. They're not interested in the physical world. Muslims are not curious about things that lie outside of their religion. Curiosity about things that aren't part of Islam is scorned in their worldview. They look at those things as a waste of time. If it doesn't involve reading the Qor'an or interpreting the Qor'an, it has no bearing on anything. Going and looking at what kind of fish are living in some cave or some, underwater, underground uh, water supply or wherever this was found. They're not interested in these things because their religion teaches them that this is the truth and that's it. And they accept it. So there are no more mysteries for them. No more mysteries to solve. Nothing to explore. They have the self-contained truth in their religion, and that's it. They don't need to go and investigate. They don't need to show curiosity about things because they think they have everything all figured out. This is the problem. Muslims talk about we did this and we did that. They have to go looking back hundreds of years to find an example of anything the Islamic world produced that was really remarkable or really had any impact on the world. And those things are from the times of actually the corrupt caliphates, Harun Rashid and these guys. Were they really Islamic? I mean, the Arabian Nights came from that era, didn't it? The Arabian Nights is essentially pornography for anyone out there who's read it. The Islamic world produced pornography back then. The European royalty kept these books in their private collections because these books couldn't be published in mainstream society in Europe because they were so pornographic. They had to be, part of the collections of the aristocrats in Europe, so they could be secretly enjoyed by the really wealthy Europeans, because they couldn't have the common people reading the Arabian Nights. It was so licentious and so bawdy. That's something the Islamic world produced back then. So how Islamic was it? They produced you can't, if the world back, the Islamic world was producing pornography like the Arabian Nights, it couldn't have been very strict. The times that were producing algebra and all that couldn't have been very strictly religious. So it really makes no sense to give the religion or the followers of the religion the credit for advances like algebra and whatnot. Rather, exploration takes place when religious restriction is relaxed. This is the lesson you should all learn from this. When people are free to explore other ideas, discoveries like this are made. When people aren't bound and restricted and told not to pay attention to things, then they can explore and they can discover things. So it really makes no sense to give Islam the credit for algebra or any of these things, because we don't know who, you know, maybe that the people who were busy, coming up with that stuff weren't particularly religious. I don't know. Any of you are welcome to go and find this out or to dispute this, but it makes no sense to me to just assume that was the case, that Islamic religious leaders produced algebra. They didn't. I doubt it very much. I've talked with Islamic religious leaders. They're completely uninterested in anything except their religion. And they interpret everything in the world according to it, according to their religion. Someone who does that is simply not interested in coming outside of their assumptions and looking at things as if seeing them for the first time. And that's what an explorer does. An explorer is somebody who's curious about the world and wants to look at things as if for the first time, instead of consulting a book like the Qor'an to tell them what to think of it. These are people who don't operate on the assumption that, oh, this is just like what I already know about. This confirms my pre-existing beliefs. That's not how an explorer operates. An explorer looks at things as if for the first time, and I'm repeating myself, but this is something that Muslims just don't have. They don't have a concept of it. They always consult with religious leaders about what to think. They always consult with their religion. What should I think of this? Let me consult the religion. What should I do about this? Let me consult the religion. That's not how an explorer works. An explorer doesn't think like that. An explorer breaks with tradition. An explorer does things that without consulting others. And that's something that, strictly religious Muslims they're the complete opposite of that. They consult constantly. They consult their religion, they consult religious texts, they consult religious leaders. They don't think independently. And that's why they're not explorers. That's why they haven't produced anything. The Persian Gulf, the dumb Arabs and the dumb Iranians are fighting over what to call it. Is it the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Gulf? And neither of them have probably discovered even one of the species in the Gulf. Neither of them. Neither the Arabs nor the Iranians. They're busy showing off, trying to claim, ownership of it, trying to be the ones to name it. And they're just a couple of losers. They're like, junkyard owners fighting over a junkyard. They're not even interested in what's in it. They just want to be the ones to own it, or the ones to claim, the right to name it. It's all ridiculous. All, the emphasis in the Islamic world is on what people think, or how something is portrayed, or respect. And there's no real interest in the thing for its own sake. I don't see Arabs saying, let's organize more expeditions to explore the Gulf and see what's in it. No, they're busy building stupid islands and gigantic buildings that they're some of the tallest buildings in the world because they want to show off. They want to say, see how great we are. And the reason why they do that is because they aren't great. People who are great don't do that stuff. They don't try so hard to pretend that they're great. And the Iranians too, they keep coming up with their, look at how powerful our Navy is. Look, we're great. We can do this. We can do that. We can shut down the Strait of Hormuz. I don't hear the Iranians saying, gee, there are these dolphins. Let's study them. Maybe let's see what their behavior is like. These dolphins that live in the Persian Gulf, no, they're not interested. They don't care. The U.S. Navy has trained dolphins to do things for them. That's because the West is backed by scientific endeavor. The Iranians don't understand this because they have contempt for individual freedom. Arabs too. The entire Middle East and Islamic world, they have no appreciation for individual freedom. They don't understand that these things fuel scientific discovery and that they shoot themselves in the foot and destroy the very chance and opportunity that they have to become powerful by killing off individual creativity and genius, by regimenting people and forcing them to say things, to say, yes, we support you, or yes, we agree with this. Instead of giving people, encouragement to go and explore, to discover, Why don't does the Iranian Navy have dolphins, trained dolphins? I doubt it. I doubt they do. If they do, they've done it by copying the West, not through their own uh, initiative. So, all the talk about Islamic world, producing science and all this is nonsense. These guys have to go back hundreds of years looking for examples of when the Islamic world even mattered in the world of science. That shows they're, doing nothing today. Muslims have an inferiority complex about themselves. 1 billion Muslims can't deal with little tiny Israel. Little tiny Israel does whatever it wants and they can't do anything about it. This shows that they feel inferior. It shows that they feel worthless. They have to, they're the only thing they can try to be proud of is they can point to Westerners who have converted to Islam. Westerners who've lost their own identity, who've been brainwashed by their own media and education system about how bad white people are and how much they have to apologize for. And of course, they're just ready pickings for being converted to an alien religion. They're just ready to abandon their own culture and their own people. They're ready to denounce their heritage. So it's not like the credit should go to the Muslims for this. They're just like vultures coming and feasting off a dead carcass. It's no credit to them that people like this are falling into their laps, like overripe fruit, rotten fruit from a tree. Now, and pay attention to this example. This lady, white Western lady, European lady, went and discovered a species of fish in Oman, and Muslims didn't. Have a nice day.